Silence is one of the most powerful forces you can ever use in life, relationships, and self-respect. Words are cheap. Words can be rehearsed, manipulated, and used as tools of deception. A man can promise you the world. He can tell you he loves you. He can swear that he would never hurt you. But words alone cannot reveal the truth of a man's heart. Actions do, and silence forces action. Silence strips away the comfort of excuses. It removes the stage for smooth talk and fake promises. When you stop speaking, when you withdraw your constant availability, when you stop feeding him with validation and attention, you create a vacuum. That vacuum makes a man show who he really is. Does he rush to fill the silence with effort, consistency, and genuine pursuit? Or does he retreat into indifference, proving that his words never carried weight in the first place? This is why silence reveals his true intentions faster than any conversation you could ever have. You see, communication is not just about talking. It's about what happens when the talking stops. If you always explain yourself, if you always chase after clarity, if you always give him the chance to charm you with words, you give him control. But the moment you choose silence, the power shifts. Suddenly, he cannot rely on words to keep you around. Suddenly, he is forced into action. If he truly cares, he will prove it. He will show up. He will call. He will fight for the connection because silence makes him realize your absence. If he doesn't care, then his lack of effort will speak louder than any excuse he could have given. Silence is honesty because it creates space for truth to reveal itself. Many women make the mistake of thinking that constant talking, explaining, and reminding a man of what they deserve will make him change, but it doesn't. In fact, the more you talk, the more you dilute your value. A man respects mystery, challenge, and standards. When you are silent, you stand firm in your worth without begging to be understood. Silence is not about playing games. It's about refusing to argue for the love you deserve. It's about giving him the chance to either rise up to your standards or fall away. Either way, you win because silence saves you time. It spares you from drowning in false promises and forces the truth into the light. Think about it. A man who truly values you will not let silence last long. He will not sit back comfortably while you pull away. He will not let days, weeks, or months pass without reaching out. He will feel the distance, and it will disturb him. He will chase what he fears losing, but a man who never intended to prioritize you will grow quieter as you grow quieter. He will match your silence not out of respect, but out of indifference. That is your answer. That is the truth that talking could never have uncovered so quickly. Silence reveals whether you were his priority or just his convenience. Silence is also a mirror. It reflects back to you the truth of your own power. When you stop speaking, when you stop explaining, when you stop chasing, you begin to see how much strength you hold within yourself. You realize that you don't need to beg anyone for clarity. You don't need to fight for a place in someone's life. If they want you, they will prove it. And if they don't, your silence will give them the freedom to walk away while you reclaim your peace. Silence keeps your dignity intact. Words can get messy, emotional, and reactive. But silence is clean. Silence is unshakable. Silence communicates strength without you ever having to raise your voice. Most men are not used to silence. They are used to being forgiven, explained to, and given chance after chance. They are used to women who talk through every issue, who remind them of how much they are loved, who warn them of what they are about to lose. But silence removes all those safety nets. Silence leaves a man with only two choices: step up or step aside. That is why it is so powerful. It forces truth to surface faster than any conversation. A man can fake words for months, even years, but he cannot fake action in the face of silence. And let me tell you, silence is unforgettable. A man will always remember the woman who had the strength to walk away without a dramatic explanation. He will always remember the woman who chose distance over desperate pleading. He will always remember the silence that echoed louder than words. Because silence is rare, silence is disciplined, silence is self-respect in its purest form, and that is what leaves a permanent mark on his mind. So when you find yourself wondering about his intentions, don't always look for the answers in his word. Look at his actions when you fall silent. If he calls, if he shows up, if he puts in the effort, then his intentions are real. If he vanishes, if he ignores the silence, if he lets the connection fade without a fight, then his intentions were never strong to begin with. Silence accelerates the truth. It does not waste your time with maybes and empty promises. It gives you clarity faster than anything else. Never underestimate the power of saying nothing. Silence is not weakness. It is strategy. It is not indifference. It is wisdom. It is not avoidance. It is clarity. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to beg to be chosen. Your silence is your proof that you know your worth, and you are willing to let go of anything or anyone who cannot rise to meet it. And that, more than anything, reveals the truth, not just about him, but about you too. A man only values what he fears losing. This truth runs deeper than many people want to admit, because comfort makes people careless. When something feels guaranteed, when someone is always available, when love and attention are given without limits, human nature begins to take it for granted. A man who knows you'll always be there, no matter what he does, will never feel the urgency to cherish you. It's not that he doesn't see your worth. It's that he has grown comfortable believing he will never lose it. That comfort turns into laziness, and laziness destroys appreciation. The very moment he begins to fear that your presence, your love, and your loyalty are not permanent, his vision sharpens. Suddenly he sees what he could lose. Suddenly he wakes up to the fact that your value is not infinite and your patience has limits. Fear is a strange motivator. For men, fear of loss often cuts deeper than the joy of gain. When he knows he could lose you, the thought haunts him more than any sweet word you could ever speak. It forces him to act, to protect, to pursue, to prove. When he believes you'll never leave, his energy fades, his effort drops, and his attention strays. But when he feels you slipping, when he feels the silence, when he realizes that you are not chained to him, that is when he begins to move differently. He checks in more, he shows up more. He watches you more closely because suddenly your absence feels possible, and possibility is powerful. Look at history, at life itself. Everything of value is respected because of its scarcity and the fear of losing it. Gold is precious because it's rare. Diamonds are protected because they cannot be easily replaced. Opportunities are chased because they expire. Love is no different. When a man sees that your time, your energy, your loyalty, and your body are not limitless resources, he begins to see you as the treasure you've always been. It is not your words that make him see it. It's the risk of losing access to it. This is why boundaries are powerful, and this is why walking away makes men rethink everything they once took lightly. Some women give endlessly because they believe love should be unconditional. But unconditional love in the wrong hands becomes a weapon used against you. A man who never fears losing you will never respect you fully. He might enjoy your presence, he might appreciate you in moments, but respect is born out of the awareness that something is not guaranteed. He must know that your love is strong, but not blind, that your heart is open, but not foolish, that your loyalty is deep, but not endless if he chooses to neglect it. This balance is what keeps a man awake, aware, and invested. Fear of loss is not manipulation, it is reality. Every man knows deep inside that the things he values most in life are the ones he guards fiercely. He locks his car, he protects his money, he works for his career, and he fights for his reputation. Why? Because he fears losing them. And yet when it comes to relationships, many women forget that this principle still applies. If you give and give without boundaries, he feels no need to guard, protect, or pursue. But when you show him that your presence is earned, not owed, his mindset changes. He understands that your love requires responsibility. He knows that you are not replaceable, but you are also not unshakable. He begins to treasure the time, attention, and intimacy you give him because he finally knows what it would cost him if he lost it. This is why distance can be more powerful than closeness, and silence more powerful than speech. It is not that you want to play games or control him, it's that you refuse to devalue yourself by being endlessly available. The man who truly values you will step up when he fears losing you. He will become more consistent, more protective, more intentional. He will think twice before risking the bond because he knows what is at stake. The man who doesn't care will let you slip away, and in that loss you will find your freedom. Either way, the truth comes out. A man only learns the depth of his feelings when faced with the thought of absence. It's easy to take warmth for granted when it's always there, but when the fire goes out, the cold becomes unbearable. Your absence is the cold, your silence is the reminder, your boundaries are the fire he must tend to if he wants to stay warm. If he refuses, if he thinks you'll relight the fire for him no matter what, then he does not deserve your flame. But if he fears losing it, he will gather the wood, protect the spark, and nurture the fire every single day. Think about your own life. How many times have you only realized the value of something once it was gone? That's human nature, and men are no different. The moment you stop reminding him, the moment you stop overgiving, the moment you pull back and protect your energy, he sees the reality. You are not permanent unless he treats you right. He begins to understand that the clock is ticking and his effort determines whether he keeps you or loses you. That urgency is what drives respect. That urgency is what makes him value you. So never make the mistake of thinking that giving endlessly will secure his heart. It won't. What secures his heart is the awareness that you can and will walk away if he takes you for granted. It is the fear of loss that keeps him invested. It is the fear of loss that makes him respect your boundaries. It is the fear of loss that transforms you from someone he assumes will always be there into someone he treasures deeply. A man only values what he fears losing, and the moment you let him know that you are not afraid to leave, he realizes that he must be afraid to lose you. Your absence forces him to decide if you were a priority or just an option. As long as you are present, as long as you are answering every call, replying to every text, and making yourself available every time he wants you, he never has to make that decision. You have already made it for him. By being endlessly there, you communicate that he doesn't need to choose. He can keep you in the background, he can give you fragments of his time, and he can live without fully committing. But the second you step back, the second you stop feeding his ego with your attention, everything shifts. Suddenly, he can no longer sit in the comfort of your presence. Suddenly, he is confronted with the reality that your place in his life is not permanent unless he fights to keep it. And that moment is the most powerful test because your absence demands clarity. Absence is the great revealer. It strips away excuses, it removes the fog of empty promises, and it exposes the truth about where you stand in his life. If you were truly a priority, he will not rest while you are distant. He will feel the weight of your silence, and he will move mountains to close the gap. He will call, he will show up, he will chase, because the thought of losing you disturbs him. But if you were only ever an option, then your absence will not move him. He may wait for you to return, he may distract himself with other people, or he may simply let the connection fade away. That is the harsh reality, but it is also the gift. Because your absence gives you the answer you could never get through words. When you are constantly present, it is easy for him to blur the lines. He can treat you like a priority when it suits him and like an option when it doesn't. He can keep you in the middle ground, never fully investing but never fully letting go. But absence eliminates the middle ground. It forces a choice. Does he fight for you or does he let you go? Does he prove that you were worth the effort, or does he reveal that you were only ever a convenience? Either way, you gain clarity, and clarity is freedom. Many women fear stepping back because they think it might push a man away. But here's the truth. If your absence pushes him away, he was never holding on to you in the first place. You cannot lose a man who is truly invested, because his fear of losing you is greater than his pride, his ego, or his laziness. A man who values you will never allow silence to linger. He will not gamble with the risk of you moving on. He will not treat your absence casually because he knows what is at stake. On the other hand, if he doesn't chase you, if he doesn't close the distance, if he doesn't fight to bring you back into his life, then you are free from wasting more of your time. That is the beauty of absence. It reveals the truth quickly and cleanly. Absence is also a measure of respect. When you step back, a man must ask himself, who is she to me? Is she the woman I see in my future, the woman I want to protect, the woman I cannot imagine living without? Or is she someone I entertain until something else comes along? That question is answered not in words, but in what he does when you are gone. If you are his priority, he will not gamble with the risk of losing you. If you are just an option, he will not fight to keep you. Absence removes the mask and shows you the man's real heart. Think about this. When someone is a priority, you don't forget them, you don't neglect them, and you don't wait until it's convenient to reach out. You think of them constantly, you put them at the front of your decisions, and you invest in keeping them close. That's what a man does when you are his priority. But when someone is just an option, they get attention when it's convenient, when boredom strikes, or when other distractions fade. Absence makes this distinction impossible to hide, because when you are no longer available, his behavior speaks louder than anything else. Your absence is not about punishment, it's about clarity. It's about refusing to accept half-hearted effort. It's about demanding truth without begging for it. When you step back, you are telling him, if I matter, prove it. If I don't, then let me go. That's why absence is powerful. It gives you your answer without you having to argue, plead, or explain yourself 1,000 times. Silence and distance do the work for you, and understand this. Your absence will always be felt. A man may not admit it, but the sudden emptiness of your presence is undeniable. He notices when you stop replying. He notices when your energy is gone. He notices when the attention he once received is no longer his. The question is, does that absence disturb him enough to change his behavior, or does he allow it to pass as if nothing important was lost? That is the answer you are looking for, and absence gives it to you without fail. You are not meant to be anyone's option. You are not meant to be a maybe or a sometimes. You are meant to be a choice, a priority, a decision. And the only way to know if you are is to step back and let him show you. If he comes after you with consistency and conviction, then you were always a priority. If he doesn't, then you were only ever an option. And your absence frees you to find the man who will never gamble with losing you. Your presence is a gift, but your absence is a test. It is the test that separates the real from the fake, the committed from the casual, the man who truly values you from the man who only entertained you. So never fear walking away, never fear going silent, never fear creating space, because your absence does what your words cannot. It forces him to decide if you are the woman he cannot live without, or just someone he was comfortable having around until you were gone. Either way, you win, because the truth always rises in the silence. In the end, everything comes down to this. Your silence, your absence, and your boundaries are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength. They are the shields that protect your worth, the walls that filter out the undeserving, and the fire that tests the purity of a man's intentions. Words can lie, but actions never do. A man will always reveal himself when you step back. If he fights for you, then you know you are his priority. If he lets you go, then you know you were only ever an option. Either way, you gain truth, and truth is freedom. Never forget, a man only values what he fears losing. If he respects you, your absence will shake him. If he doesn't, your absence will free you. Both outcomes serve you because your time and energy are too precious to be wasted on someone who does not treasure them. So walk in silence when needed, create distance when necessary, protect your self-respect above all else, because the woman who knows her value does not chase love. She attracts it. She does not beg for attention. She commands it. And she does not fear losing a man. She knows the right man will fear losing her.